So that must be quite an abrupt way to start the stream. I figured since this is Stream Sunday, I can do whatever I want. So I hope you guys can all hear me. If the mic is loud and clear, let me know in the chat, please. No music on the background. All right. Hey, everybody. Nice. Because that's the one part of what I'm doing today is I wanted to do a re-recording of my GSG talk about stream design and presentation. I wasn't really happy with the recording, so I decided to do it again. I updated it. Made sure I was a little bit better prepared, so it should be a bit better. Also, I wasn't happy with the audio. I'm now using my vocal mic. I used my headset vocoder mic for the last one, and I think this is better. So I spent the last 2 hours making some updates and making some notes to make sure it's better than last time, I hope. So if you've already seen my talk last time about graphic design and presentation, stream design, well, this one is going to be better, and it's a nice reiteration maybe. If you haven't seen it, yeah. If you are a streamer and you want to up the graphic design quality of your streams, this could be a very useful talk. And as some of you know, I'm educated as a designer, but live streaming is where all my passions come together: music, electronic music, technology, community, and design, animation, stuff like that. So let's just get started. So welcome everybody. to this talk about graphic design and presentation. It's going to take about 20 minutes, I think, maybe 25. And after that, I will convert my rig to a jamming rig and do some music. So, welcome again. Stream design and presentation. Because presentation is everything. Presentation is the intersection between your work, your projects, your music, and your audience. And this audience can be clients, it can be your viewers, it can be your community. And that's why it's so important. You see these two spheres, and this is your work, and the other one is your audience, and presentation is where it comes together. What this means is that presentation is the only thing your audience will see. It's the only thing that they will see about you. It's how you present yourself to the world, to your audience. It's the overlap between your work, between your passion, and the people that are interested in it. So it's more than just a presentation. It's everything. It's how people see you and hear you. Presentation is about respect. It's about respect for your own work. You want to present it in the best possible way. You've spent a lot of time, money, effort into creating what you want to create. And you owe it to yourself to present it to your audience in the best possible way. And you also owe it to your audience to not let them get distracted by stuff that isn't very good or stuff that doesn't matter. They're here for you, they're here for your work, and everything else only is in the way. So it's about respect. RESPECT. Presentation is also about focus. It's about showing the things you want to show and filtering the stuff you don't want to show. It's about emphasizing and putting the stuff you are proud of in a spotlight and cleaning up the stuff you are not proud of. This gives interesting opportunities because it gives you the ability to show only the things you want to show. In a presentation, never share what didn't work out. Don't even talk about it. Don't even show a little bit of it. Just focus on the stuff that worked out. And you see this little C in the middle? That's going to bring us to the next slide, because I've created 4 statements that are like the cornerstone of this presentation. The 4 C's. Choose with reason. Cut the distractions. Be consistent. And take care. What this means. Whenever you make a choice to add or create something in a presentation, make sure you make well-reasoned choices. Don't just pick anything. Pick the right things and think before you add something. Think before you make a choice. Cut the distractions. Anything that's not in place will only take the attention away from the stuff you want to show. So, cut everything away that is not important to your message. Also, be consistent. Make the same choices for the same kind of questions in your presentation. Because everything that's inconsistent is a distraction. Everything that's inconsistent is an unwell-reasoned choice. And last of it, take care. Your work is your baby. Feed it well, raise it just, and it will take care of you later. And this is somewhat of a design cliche, of course. Less is more, but it's true, especially when cutting distractions. Don't do too much. The more messages you are sending, the less clear they become. Less is more. And it works with all kinds of stuff. It's less fonts. Use less sources in your streams. Less images. Smaller sizes. Less sounds. In music it also works. It's better to perfect the things you have than to keep adding new stuff. Less colors, less camera angles maybe even. And especially less visual languages. Try to speak in one visual language. So, going back to the 4 C's, how do you do all this stuff? How do you make these well-reasoned choices? How do you know what's a distraction and what's not? How to be consistent? Well, this presentation is also about giving you some backbone to make all these kinds of decisions. So less is more is one. Just do less. Just do the right things. But another important one is your concept. The concept is, what is your work about? What is your message? Do you have a mission? Some kind of vision you want to share with the world? What is this? What are you doing? And why? What is your concept? So how would someone define a concept for a stream in this case? Well, these are some things to think about. What is your theme? What are your qualities? The senses, the mind, and radiation. The theme is your story. It's the setting. It's the style. The qualities, it's about you. What are you good at? What are your unique traits? And the senses, of course, are, what does it look like? What does it taste like? How does it smell? How does it feel? How does it make you feel inside? But also, how does it feel to the touch? In relation to your stream or your concept or your work, think about these kind of things. Write them down. And with the mind, I mean, what do you want people to think about when they consume your work? Write it down. And most importantly, the radiation. It's what do you want your work to radiate? What do you want to shine into the world? What do you want to add? What do you want your life to mean even? Those are some pretty big questions, but answering those questions can help you make decisions in how to create your stream. So, define your concept and also list the elements you're going to use in your stream. For music streamers, this usually is your music, but also your cameras, maybe your chat, of course, or photography or other works of art you're using. List them. List the stuff you could possibly add to your stream to help tell your story. And take a piece of paper and sketch it all out. Some people forget that you can just grab a pencil or a pen and draw something on a paper or write something down. There is something to putting something on paper with a pen. It does something to the mind. It creates ideas in your mind, and it will make it a lot easier for you to have a definition of something. And it could look something like this, like a little drawing, a piece of paper. I am working on a template PDF to help you list all this stuff. Right now I don't have it finished, but if you're watching this in a FOD, the link shown on the screen will work. And you can, I'm working on a template that you can fill in and make the drawings on. They will be available. So just a simple drawing of what do you want your stream to look like. Logos, jets, cameras, camera angles, art, text, logos, everything. So, what are you going to do with all this information? You're going to create a visual identity, or maybe even in the case of your musicians, an audiovisual identity, or maybe even a brand identity. But I don't want to get into like brand identity stuff. Also, I don't mean stationery, business cards, that kind of brand identity stuff. I mean your visual and stylistic choices, and you're gonna put them all on a paper or in a file to be able to be consistent about it. The good thing is you only have to do it once. It may feel like a lot of work, but it will make your life easier on the long run, because whenever you're making choices, you're going to know what choice to make. If you have to pick a font or a color, you have it written down somewhere. You don't have to think about it anymore. So it's an investment. It's an investment in the quality of your work and in quality of your presentation. And it's an investment in time, because making choices will be a lot easier. So the kind of stuff that's going to be in your simple visual identity is going to be stuff like typography, like what kind of fonts you're going to use, which ones. Picking a font can be as easy as going to Google Fonts. Those are really well integrated in all kinds of software, hardware, websites, templates, even in overlays. Write in your channel name or your own name and just browse to the fonts and find one that looks cool, that looks like the way you define your concept. Same with colors, less is more. You might only need one color for stuff. Maybe you need a second color, but pick one primary color you're going to use for all highlights, all geometric shapes, all links, one color, extra color in your logo besides black and white, or black or white. And when it comes to style, list some references. This can be artists, movies, all kinds of fiction. It can be places, locations, architecture. It can be eras. It can be moments in time. It can be materials. It can be things from nature. It can be things from mythology. It can be things from cuisine, everything. So everything that works with your concept, that you like or you think that is part of the concept of your story. And all these things are going to make you make the right decisions. It's going to help you choose with reason. It's going to help you cut distractions, because stuff that isn't part of your message, you can just leave it out. It's going to help you be consistent because you know what choices to make, and it's going to help you to take care. So the rest of this presentation is going to be about some simple general tips and tricks on how to make your stream look better. Some basic graphic design and layout tricks and tips. One thing I want to mention is stuff can be big, stuff can be small. Scale is something important. Usually stuff that's smaller looks better. It's about proportions, and the bigger something is, the bigger the chance it's in the way. Bigger is not better in layout. Of course, you want people to be able to read some text, but if you have to make everything readable on a mobile screen, everything has to be super big. So there's people that are watching streams on mobile are not reading text on screen. So you don't have to optimize for that. If you have a chat in your stream, it only has to be big enough for it to be readable on a 24-inch or maybe a 17 or 16-inch laptop screen. If it's readable with the naked eye, it's good enough. It's an extra anyway. So when in doubt, make stuff smaller. Space is a very important thing. There was a famous composer, Debussy, and he says it's not the notes, but the space between the notes that's the most important. And the same goes with layout. You see these words here in the corners and the word in the middle. But what I see is an invisible border around the screen that's the same size everywhere. And I also see the space between the letter space. You're not just designing the stuff that's on screen, but you're also laying out the non-space that's almost just as important as the stuff you're putting in there. So always try to keep some margins and padding of the stuff you place. Don't place it right in the corner because it's gonna feel packed. And with borders, if you're designing something for a screen, everybody already is looking at it on at least one border, the screen itself. Sometimes they even have it in a pop-up window, or like in a window with chat and another part of the screen. So if it's a border in a screen in a border, it's gonna look messy. So limit borders in borders. Try to make use of the entire space and take some padding, take some margins. Stuff will breathe more. It will make it easier to digest visually. Another thing. Try to align everything to everything. Don't just place something somewhere. Try to make sure, like right here, these are all aligned to the right, but also these ones are also aligned, and it's putting just random text like this. It gives them a reason to exist. And a reason to exist is, they're not just there. They're in that place because they are aligned. It makes it look like it's a well-reasoned decision, and it is. So always align everything to everything, if you can. And if you also can, distribute stuff evenly. If you have like 5 sources you want to put next to each other, make sure the spaces, the sizes are the same, and the spaces are in between are the same. Communicate, do not decorate. Decoration can be a part of your style, but if you put something in a stream or in a design only to decorate, it's always better to put something in there that also has a function, but is in the style that you want to communicate or that you want to radiate. This means instead of decoration, you could also just make the stuff you are adding part of your style, and it will be the decoration you're looking for, but it will also be functional. It will also communicate, and communication is a lot more important than decoration. Decoration is like, it's kitsch. That's the opposite of design is kitsch. Kitsch is just noise, visual noise. This is a very, very important one. This is the easiest way to screw up your design and screw up your professionalism, is to break the proportions of graphics or text. Like the height and the width, they have a certain aspect ratio, and if you take them apart and squish them in any way, it will instantly look unprofessional and it will look like shit. Never do it. Never, never, never do it. Unless you are a professional graphic designer and you absolutely know what you're doing. But usually never break those proportions. It will instantly make everything look like shit. Don't do it. Never. Colors. Oversaturation. Try less is more also goes for color. Don't oversaturate. I usually, on lots of my sources, even my cameras, but especially emote walls and stuff like that, I turn down the saturation a lot because it just looks better. It looks more professional. It looks more serene, and especially at emote walls, because emotes are hundreds of visual languages and they all have different lines, they all have different colors. So it's the easiest way to break your visual identities by using a lot of emotes. But if you make them small enough and you desaturate them a bit, it can work. It can make your stream look interactive. I also use them, but I make them a little bit transparent, and I desaturate them a lot, and I make them small. And I make them part of a whole and not in every scene. So that will make it also look more professional and not too much distraction. You don't want too much distraction. Remember the second C, cut distractions. Emote walls are the perfect distraction. They get in the way of your work and your communication. But there are ways to use them that it works. So subtle transparency on some of your sources, not on your cams, most of the time, but on text, it can work very nicely to blend stuff in. Somewhere between 80 or 90% can do a lot to your layout. It will blend stuff in using visuals, stuff like that. Visuals, if you're using visual videos or a video synthesizer, like I use the IC, the CNG IC, and I have it like desaturated minus 40% or something, because the colors are so bright and saturated, they just pop too much and they get in the way of what I want to show. So especially with VJ videos, visuals, it's usually a good idea to take the saturation all the way down and take it up until you think it looks nice. Composition, also an important thing. Where do you place stuff? Well, there is, apart from just centering stuff or aligning stuff to the left or to the right, or those are obvious choices and they can be really good. But you might know that when you're taking a picture on some cameras, or you can have this raster, which is usually in thirds, that helps you pick the right composition. Like on the intersection point you see on the screen right now, this is probably the best place to put the subject. In this case, me. I'm on the underside, so it would be like here. But this is about the same. I am like 32% to the other side. And why is this 61.8% and 38.2%? Well, that's the golden ratio. And the golden ratio is the proportions that are most pleasing to the human eye. And that's because these proportions, they appear everywhere. In nature, for instance, in trees, in animals, everywhere. That has to do with the Fibonacci sequence, but I'm not going to go in detail with that. But it's a nice percentage to remember, about 62%. It's a nice place to put stuff because it will look pleasing to the eye. Also, with proportions, if you're going to do like one extra screen, like in here, a good size would be to put it right here. And then the proportion between this video and the total will be good. Or the proportion between this part and that part will be optimal. Same goes in height. If you're interested in stuff like that, look it up. It's quite, it's not very easy to explain. But just remembering 62% is, or just remembering that it's about 2/3, can really help you. It's just an easy way to make a well-reasoned choice. If you don't know where to put it, at least try this position and this this ratio as well. Borders, masks, and vignettes. I talked a little bit about borders. Usually, it's, if stuff doesn't need a border, don't add like a template border or something. It's only in the way. You might think it looks flashy, but usually it's just kitsch. And masks are a lot better idea to use. You can, on all your sources, you can use an image mask. And the easiest way to create a nice mask is to take a screenshot, full screen of your source, open it in a simple editing program, can even be Microsoft Paint or something. Paint all the stuff you don't want painted black, paint the stuff you want to keep painted white, and use it, save it and use it as an image mask in OBS. That way you can just, like your dirty clothes that are in a corner on a camera, you can just mask them away. It's a good way to focus on the stuff you want to focus on. I'm also sharing a vignette pack. What are vignettes? So vignettes are basically blurred masks, like you see on the edges of the screen right here. And they work really well, I think, with streams if you want to show visuals, but also want to show camera, but don't want to use borders. You can use a vignette like this to only show the visuals in the edges of the screen, and they will fade towards the middle. And in the middle, you will show your camera, and then on the edges, you can have some visuals or anything else. Also, it's a nice way to, if you want to put like a little headshot camera in the corner of your screen, but don't want the borders, and you wanted to blend it with the rest of the material, you can use a vignette like this. You can download a vignette pack I'm sharing. You can download it on GSG.live/vignettes. Camera angles. Very, very important. Don't just settle for the first thing that comes to mind, but take some time, get a ladder, get a chair, get a long cable, monitor the output of your camera, walk around your room, hold it up high, low, find the perfect spot to put your camera. And after that, find a way to put it there. It might require you to mount it to the ceiling. It might require you to buy a mic stand, for instance, with a clamp on it, and that usually enables you to put the camera about everywhere. But take the time to find the absolute best position for it. And some good positions are, especially when you do live electronic music, the stuff people want to see is the gear, your hands, what are they doing with it. So something like that usually is a good idea, but it can be also a shot from the side. And camera angles can also, you can show your best side. You can, if you like the way you look from a certain angle, you pick that one. It's good for confidence. Camera angles, very important. And with camera angles also comes lighting. Also something you should really take care in. One way to do it is just start with a completely dark room, and one by one add lighting. Look at your camera, see how it looks. If you want something to be brighter or more in the camera, add a lamp or change the position of your lighting. Add some lighting you can just use the lighting to show the stuff you want to show. It can also, a good lighting can make a very messy room look beautiful, and terrible lighting can make a very cool setup look like shit. Some important stuff is don't make it too bright. Look at the highlights. That's the place where things shine. If the shines are too wide, are too big, it means you're missing information. So the highlights, the shiny bits, they need to be small. Also, when you're looking at the black, if everything is like gray and black, you cannot see contrast. It means it might be a bit too dark in that area. So there's some things to look at, but really take care. You only have to do it like once or twice maybe, and look at it again in a year. Same goes with cameras. Lighting, it's very, very important. It can really make or break how your cameras look. If you have the ability to make your room completely dark and just put lights on one by one and optimize, that's a great way of trying. Also, if you don't want to add like lots of stuff to it, just get creative with what you have. Don't stroll the internet for stuff to add to your stream. You have enough. You can also use your logo in creative ways to create visuals, or use the font you already have to create interesting texts on screen. So you don't always have to add new stuff to make stuff look better. You usually have a lot of stuff to work with. And again, less is more. This is just one image and it's mirrored 4 times. It's a super simple and easy trick. When you do this with visuals or cameras, it's you can make this like a kaleidoscopic effect with a source you're already using. So you can, if you also put a scroll effect on it, yeah, you can just use a simple camera as a simple visual thing. And if you combine it with a vignette and lay it over your normal video, it can get really interesting results without adding something, by just being creative in OBS. So once more, the 4 C's: choose with reason, cut the distractions, be consistent, and take care. Remember those 4 C's. One more time, all the stuff I've covered in this one is define the concept. I'm gonna share like a template for it, also for visual identity. You will be able to download it on GSG.live /the concept. Limit the visual languages. Make sure you speak with one voice, one visual voice that is. Mind scaling better. Usually better to make stuff smaller than you would. Take your space and use it wisely. Align everything. Communicate, don't decorate. Don't break the ratio of stuff, and don't oversaturate your stream. Use transparency. Optimize your compositions. Limit the use of borders. Use masks. Invest in the best camera angles. Optimize your lighting and work with what you've got. So that was it. Remember, presentation is the intersection between your work and your audience. So it's what people see. It's what people see of you. It's important. Thank you. So, let's see how long. Whoa, this was a lot longer than I planned. 40 minutes. Holy shit. I was hoping this was going to be like 20 minutes or something. I might have to cut some stuff out in the edit. But let me try to see if I can get my music rig going. bye.